Reading While Inebriated. Welcome to the RWI podcast. By nature, there will be spoilers for the books we have picked. Also, we are going to be eating, drinking, and maybe swearing. Listener beware.
Hi, buddies. It's us again.
Yep. Same clothing, same lipstick, same hairstyle.
Same. Okay, I got a new
Different
beer. This is Easy Apple, not pear anymore.
This is green apple, because I don't drink a
Same.
whole lot.
Okay, so I said I will did read Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher, which was a biography.
And I read Thrawn by Timothy Zahn, which is not a biography, but it should
I
be.
mean, technically it is a biography.
About a fictional character.
Yeah. Are those still biographies? No, they're fiction. No.
Fictional biographies, I guess?
Yeah. Right? You want to go first this time?
Sure. So, my book, Thrawn by Timothy Zahn, another Star Wars story. So if you don't like Star Wars, go away.
Oh, this one is very Star Wars themed because
Uh-huh.
I read Carrie Fisher.
Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting.
Leia!
Nice. Yes, so if anybody hasn't seen Thrawn or has no idea who Thrawn is,
Who is Thrawn, Taylor?
he is the Grand Admiral of the Empire.
He's blue.
He is blue with red eyes.
You gotta watch Rebels to see him. We
Rebels
watched
got real serious in the
I
fourth
know,
season.
that's what I heard. I'm scared.
Oh, you should be. You should be.
Okay.
He is a Grand Admiral of the Imperial Fleet. Anyone who hasn't read anything into Star Wars or into the Imperials, anything like that, this book makes it real clear how their hierarchy was. Thrawn was discovered, the book starts just kind of with an Imperial fleet coming down and kind of discovering a third world planet with, natives, and I think it had, a mining system there, and people were just going missing there, so they sent stormtroopers down to...
Why are people going missing?
Exactly, kind of explore to get samples, something like that.
Solve a mystery? Are you saying there was a crime?
Oh, there was a crime. It was great. So first things first, a TIE fighter got shot down, and they found the body, and it was missing his communicator. They were like, "Wow,
Oh,
that's
I thought you were gonna say a body part.
no, missing the communicator." And that was all sorts of weird, and they didn't know what was going on, so they were all on guard. They set up a perimeter. They had all their stormtroopers. Then animals started invading little rodents started running into the camp with explosives on their back, which exploded more stormtroopers and destroyed more things and stuff of that nature. Yeah.
That's probably not good, right?
I mean, you don't like Imperials,
That's fair.
and
That's probably
stormtroopers are like faceless. I mean, they're just grunts, right? So.
I mean...
Yeah, stormtroopers essentially explode a lot at the beginning of this book. They get ambushed. I think another fighter gets shot down, and they think, "Wow, whoever's on this planet, we are getting assaulted by this guerrilla force."
Are you
stuff
sure
like that.
it's not just exploding mice?
It was exploding. It was like exploding mice something. Essentially, Thrawn was slingshotting them. it was actually really funny when you get to look into it. Yeah, they believed it was all. A big group working to stop them or destabilize them. Other natives were fighting. No, it was just Thrawn. Thrawn was playing them really badly. It's a really convoluted thing, and you should really read the book to get the full kind of scope of it. But long story short, they start panicking, and
I would.
They panic because they have no idea what's happening, how this is happening. They pack up and start going. They notice one stormtrooper is missing, and they say, "Okay, well, we're leaving him. That's fine."
Screw John!
Another stormtrooper who is standing guard, he just explodes out of his armor, and they're just like, "No, we're gone. We're leaving. Bye." And they bail. They get onto the Star Destroyer back, and they're just like, "We don't know what was going on that planet. We should get rid of that planet. That place is horrible."
Nuke that planet from orbit.
But one of the more clever kind of officers is watching, and he's like, wait, just get everyone out of the hangar, and we'll watch. And after everyone's evacuated, Thrawn kind of creeps out from from the transport.
Oh.
So he did all of this just to find his way onto the Star Destroyer, and they capture him, at which point he just surrenders without a fight.
He was like, yeah,
And
they wanted this to happen.
Yeah,
he talks very,
he is
like it.
very calm and collected.
Yeah.
He is, so the general concept behind Thrawn, I'd say Hux is Weasley.
Okay.
Thrawn is calculated. He is ruthless. Like Phasma, he is very much these results will work, or this plan of action is going to work. And he has been hailed as pretty much the smartest person in the Empire, above the Emperor himself. Just in terms of his military planning. The people who captured him, well, some of them wanted to execute him, obviously.
Probably should have been a better idea.
I don't know. I don't think so. But they decided to bring him to the Emperor because he's showing he's a chiss. He's one of the Outer Rim species.
What'd you call me?
Chiss. He's one of the Outer Rim species that they haven't seen before, and they don't really know how to deal. They just he's blue. He's very blue, and he just knows. They just know stories about him. Stories like he's essentially like a he's like a boogeyman. Yeah. Almost. They know stories about him, about his people. About
He threw exploding mice at them.
If he gets the job done. But the Emperor, he brings him to the Empire, and he kind of states his case. And all this is told from the perspective of one of his advisors. It was just some military cadet who was training to become a fighter pilot, I believe. But he spoke a language that was that fit between the Chiss and the Emperor. So he was assigned as Thrawn's advisor, or his translator. The Emperor kind of talks to Thrawn and sizes him up and asks, like, what do you want out of our Emperor? And he just said, I want a chance to serve the Empire and to protect not only your people but my people from these outside forces that you don't know about yet. And
like my people.
Yeah. And the Emperor kind of does the power play thing and says, what if I recruit you into my service, use you for 5 years, and decide that I don't want to save your people? And Thrawn just kind of calculated and just kind of takes that and just says, well, I've gambled and I've lost then. But I'm going to spend these 5 years trying to convince you that my way is best.
I'm just like picturing, like the guy in Rebels where he's just like, yes. Like he talks very quietly and like.
Essentially, yeah, he's never.
It's really creepy.
He almost never loses his cool.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Yes, I understand. But the entire story is him going through. It's told in very big time gaps. Every single chapter, essentially, he receives a promotion, and
this is more like a biography than Phasma, right?
Yeah, this is more.
If you didn't watch Phasma, that was the last episode.
Yeah, this is more of a biography. His rise through the military. So he starts off like He starts off going through the basic training, and he already starts in basic training as a lieutenant. They give him a lieutenant badge and things like that. And the Empire is incredibly racist against anyone that is non-human, to the point where other cadets are trying to.
Aren't we though?
Yeah. Other cadets are trying to blackmail him, or they're trying to discredit him. They're trying to get him in trouble. They're trying to get him do stuff like this, and he is just taking it. He is like, and his translator who's with him is receiving the same treatment as him, because it's like, you're human, why are you following this guy? And he's like, well, the Emperor told me to, I can't do anything like that. So they're
god, that reminds me of that stupid Bright movie on Netflix. He's like, why do you have him in your party? Because I have to. He's my partner. Yeah,
he actually has a lot of resentment towards Thrawn for that at first. Yeah. Because it's like, wow, you just derailed my military career.
Right.
And Thrawn is just taking abuse and does not ever strike back, doesn't do anything like that. And when he's like kind of questioned why, he's like, well, because at this point they could deny it. I'm gonna wait until they can't deny it anymore, and then I'm going to
hunt them down.
If you ever read, did you read Ender's Game?
No.
Oh, well, anyone who's read Ender's Game, it's the idea of a decisive victory. That is what Thrawn's always going for. He's going for something that you cannot come back from.
He reminds me like he's always playing chess in his mind.
Yeah. So like the second chapter is like him in the military academy, and then it's like, oh, now he's a lieutenant, and then now he's a major, and now he's something else, and every single chapter he keeps getting promotions because his victories are flawless. So even victories where
flawless.
Well, he gets attacked like they get ambushed by like rebels, by like a bigger rebel fleet with one star destroyer or something like that, and he takes them out while losing like one ship. I think he takes out their entire fleet while losing one ship as a ploy. His entire game is that he is always thinking one step ahead of people. He is always studying their art, their culture, their history, because it gives them some insight into how they're going to think.
You see part of that in Rebels.
You see much more of it in Rebels in season 4 apparently, and I'm really excited for that.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you
so
should be.
I'm done with Rebels.
No, you gotta watch it through. It's so good. It's a really good series.
I'm so scared.
But yeah, he makes it all the way through to the point where he is deemed the Grand Admiral. So I believe he's right below or equal to Grand Moff Tarkin, who he meets and talks to and stuff like that. But it just kind of it's a really interesting look into it, because it also expands more into the Clone Wars and stuff like that. Because the way that he got the Emperor's interest originally is
right.
Yeah, when he was talking to the Emperor, he's like, "Why? Well, what do you have any? Is there any reason why I should consider you for part of the thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I worked with someone that I believe you worked closely with, and it was Anakin Skywalker." And he doesn't know he's Vader.
How many people know Anakin is Vader? Us two, including us.
I don't think many.
It's just like this guy that showed up, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he's like the second in command."
Well, he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any military rank. Vader's never had any military rank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's. I mean, the only reason he has the only reason people follow him is because he chokes them out otherwise. And he's allowed to do that because who's gonna tell him?
He
no?
doesn't. Yeah, I mean.
Can you stop yourself from being force choked? Nope, didn't think so.
Can you though?
Yeah, Thrawn figures out how to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, does he just expand his throat? I'm just kidding.
No, it's not in this book. It was in the original book. It was in the original Thrawn by the same author, Timothy Zahn. It was called Heir to the Empire. Good Heir to the Empire, yeah. Good book. Same character, more kind of backstory to it. Yeah, I mean.
Did you read that one too?
I'm halfway through it right now. But
I'll have to do another book after that.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things. Like he got force choked once.
Never again.
And then he was like, "That was unpleasant. I should figure some way to never let that happen again," because he had no control of it. It caught him completely off guard. He contacted a Jedi who was hunting down. He's like, "Hey, listen, we're destroying your fleet right now. Surrender." And then he started getting force choked. He's like, "What's going on?
I don't like this at all. What is this?
Was not planning this."
I like that sort of humorous side to stuff. Like, I don't like this at all. What's going on?
Wow, that sucks.
And then picturing the guy on roof.
That sucked.
Yeah, didn't like that.
I should not let this happen again.
So how does the book end?
The book ends essentially when he is given the Grand Admiral position, and it's just how he got to his position because after the Grand Admiral position, I mean it picks up after in Rebels, and you get to see what he's done with his position. He is actually one of and Vader were both against the Death Star. They both told the Emperor, "This is a horrible idea. We should not do this." And the Emperor and Tarkin overruled them.
That's no moon.
But yeah, it ends with him being promoted to the Grand Admiral.
Was the Emperor like, "I am the Senate"?
No, it was Thrawn actually did an analysis of him, and that's the one of the better parts of the book. Whenever Thrawn is talking, or whenever you see things from Thrawn's point of view, you see the words and you see the actions and stuff like that, but you also have italicized text of what Thrawn is seeing. So he's talking to someone and he'll be analyzing them, and he'll say he sees his throat tighten, his muscles in his jaw kind of tighten, like he's agitated in some way. I've struck a nerve somewhere, and he is picking these people apart, and they have no idea, and it is great.
Maybe his eyes have, like, extra sensitivity or something.
Maybe. I think the one person he tried to analyze and he couldn't was Tarkin. Like, he looked at Tarkin and just got dead. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that was...
Well, Tarkin looks, to be fair, dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. Really, really interesting look into one of the kind of lesser-known characters in the Star Wars universe. I mean, he's more known...
because you don't really see him in, like, the movies.
He isn't in the movies, because, and they actually played back to that, where they were saying, like, one of the biggest losses was the Death Star and the Super Star Destroyer, the Executrix, which is Tarkin's ship. And the Thrawn's advisor, who, like, gets promoted after a while, essentially says, if Thrawn was commanding this, the rebels wouldn't have won. They wouldn't have had a chance. And that's
what I said. They should have just, like,
yeah,
execute him in the beginning. But
nah.
I'm pro rebels.
Yeah, you are. Fully recommend that book. Fully recommend the Heir to the Empire as well, and the Rebels TV series, because they really...
I second the Rebels TV series.
They give a much more in-depth look at, like, the hierarchy of the Empire, at how everything is kind of designed there and how everything runs. It's fascinating. It's really good.
Thanks. So I read Wishful Drinking. So it was I don't know if you knew this, but Carrie Fisher was like a talented writer before she started writing her biographies.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I didn't know Carrie Fisher was in anything except Star Wars until, like, that. Actually, that's pretty much the only thing I've seen her in.
She's really only been in Star Wars, I think.
She's been in a couple of other things, I believe.
I didn't follow her career, to be honest.
Star Wars is the only thing I cared about.
Yeah. So, I'll say I am sorry, but I have a PDF of this book, and it's not... I don't even know if I'm sure that I read the whole book. That's how bad this... Because it doesn't matter. The point is, I read the book, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And, it really, like, highlights, like, her life up to that point. And she starts off with, like, she had a, did you know she was married to Bob Dylan?
Nope.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. That's crazy. I thought I would have known that, but... Yeah, she's very brutally honest about, like, her childhood and how, like, she, her dad was, like, an absentee dad. And then, her mom was, like an actress before that. So, like, when her mom would, like, go to set and then would come back, she'd be like, oh, like, my mom would, like, take her makeup off and become my mom. But before that, she was, like,
an actress,
what? Yeah. And then, so, like, her and her brother would, like, play around in, like, the, wardrobe and then pretend to be movie stars. And that's great. Like, that's great. I think her brother's name is Gary?
Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Gary Fisher.
And then she has, I can't remember her mom's name. She has a daughter named Billy. Her dad's name was Eddie Fisher.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a singer. He was a really popular singer.
She came from talent, apparently.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. And then she, like, I just learned, like, so much about her, and I know I can't remember any of it because I'm a terrible person. I didn't take notes. But it was really good. She talked about how, she's, like, obviously bipolar. And, she didn't know what that was. Like, obviously, we didn't know what that... I mean, a lot of people didn't know what that was in, like, when she was growing up. And then, like, she was, like, to get away from the feelings I was having, she would go into drugs and drinking, and that's how she became an addict. And it was, like, she's still honest about how she went to rehab 21 years ago or whatever, but she didn't. She's not sober 21 years. So she's, like, honest about... Like, she's not gonna lie about it in her biography, I guess.
That's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna lie, whatever.
Yeah, right? And then, so she's just like, I don't know, it was really interesting, and she got married a couple times, and she's actually not married to Billy's dad. And it was like, Billy's dad is actually a gay agent, or something like that. And when they slept together... Gagent. He's a very gagent. And, like, when they slept together, he was, like, he didn't know, or maybe he was, like, still figuring it out, but then, you know, he ended up getting a boyfriend or whatever, but he's still a good dad to Billy or whatever. Yeah, but it was like, you know, I thought it was very interesting because I didn't know Carrie apart from how awesome of a feminist and how great she is at, like, being Leia. and then, like, I read this and I was like, wow, she's very, like, I mean, obviously, she's a lot of layers to her. And, yeah, it was very inspirational. And then she, like, listed, like, people who were bipolar, and then she has, like, a whole, like, chapter or whatever about, like, these are the people who are bipolar, and then who have, like, you know, not survived through it, but, like, made it work for them. And then it was, like, a lot of people who I was like, oh, I didn't realize, like...
Do you have any...
I can't remember. I can look it up. I'll cut this part out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the mom's name was Debbie Reynolds. I probably knew that. She died, like, right after Carrie died. This was really sad.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, so she has a list of people who she took electrotherapy, which is, you know, shock therapy. And these are the people who had shock therapy with her. I mean, who have also had shock therapy. So it was like Judy Garland, Bill Stryton, I don't know who that is, Sylvia Plath, Cole Porter, Lou Reed, Vivian Leigh, Yves Saint Laurent, Connie Francis, Ernest Hemingway. I didn't even know they had.
No, he probably just stuck a fork in the socket or something. Hemingway.
Was there electricity when he was alive? I have no idea. Maybe he asked his good friend Ben Franklin.
I think we're getting I think we're showing just how shitty we are at history. And it's okay.
This is why we need, you know, podcasts like The Dollop to help me figure out when stuff happens.
Are we advertising The Dollop now?
Yeah.
Good. Feature us,
Listen to that. And then so, these are, like, people who have alcohol addicts, so, and bipolar, so Bill Stryton again, Vivian Leigh, Francis Farmer, who,
Ernest Hemingway's on there again, of course he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we know he was an alcoholic, but...
Yves Saint Laurent again, he's, like, that famous, makeup guy. Yeah, so she, like, voluntarily took that, and then it was also, like, she fully admits, like, before... she took ECT, a lot of those memories are gone now. So, like, it was also through drugs and alcohol. But, like, all those memories are gone now. So she's, like, she'll, like, watch something. She's like, oh, so that happened to me. And then, like, she recalls, like, going through ECT. And then, it was like, oh, I was in this thing called Star Wars. And it was, a global phenomenon. And it's still happening.
She didn't remember Star Wars?
Well.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if it's just because it's like I mean, memories are supposed to be just like electrical currents, like traveling around your brain, right? So I guess electrical. I mean, I guess if you're feeling like if you're used to feeling like shitty one day, then good the other, then shitty another day.
Right.
I guess if you want to make it stop, you try to figure out what you can do.
Right.
So.
And then, yeah, as you know, as quick as possible too. But she also talked about like she talked extensively about her family and how much she loved them, and she had a gay best friend and he died in her bed somehow. Like, she had people over and too many people were staying over and he ended up in her bed, like, sleeping with her but not sleeping with her. And then she woke up and he was dead, and that was very traumatizing.
Cocaine.
I mean, probably a little bit.
I mean, what?
I mean, she's an adult.
She can do what she wants. I'm not judging her for that.
Oh, but probably not a good thing.
No, you probably we're not advertising cocaine.
Don't do it. You're advertising this delicious
alcohol. Never hurt anyone. Wait.
Just kidding. Anyway, so that was a really good book, and I hope to buy the other book she has. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I mean, if I had money, I would have bought this one too. But anyway, it was good. So read that. And read his. Anyway. So.
Again, drinking, what was it?
Wishful Drinking?
Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher. Thrawn by Timothy Zahn.
It rhymes.
Yes, it does.
Alright. And, so, the next book's going to be...
I'm going to be doing Ahsoka.
And I will be reading Nickel Plated
You're
by...
not going to like the Ahsoka review.
You're not going to like the Nickel Plated review either.
Sweet.
Bye, everyone!